Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Go About Your Business, where we talk about business, creative branding, and most of all, financial education. Today, we're here with no other than the coordinator of Rooted Hair and Fashion Show, Shanice Styles. Time to start it up. How you doing, lovely?
Good, you making me nervous. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, Shanice. Today, we're going to be talking about you and what it's like to live your life as a fashion coordinator, fashion show. Because you've been doing your big one.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been doing your big one, the one and not the two. So let the audience know, who is Shanice Styles?
Shanice Styles. My middle name is Shanice, so Marquesha is my first name. So it's always hard people to pronounce it. So I just went with Shanice, probably like within the last 10 years. But Shanice Styles wasn't born until probably 3 years ago. Hair and fashion has always been a passion of mine, so it's still a hobby, and I may make it a profession. I don't know. But Shanice is the oldest of five. I'm from Michigan, been in Maryland for 15 years, and I'm in healthcare. That's my life when I'm not doing hair and fashion.
Okay, so you just told us what you do on your day to day.
Mhm.
You're in healthcare.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what inspired you to even start fashion,
Yeah.
hair,
Mhm.
looks to even bring it into a fashion show?
Okay, so hair, I've been doing hair all my life because I have little sisters. So that has always been a side hustle, a passion, money maker, side hustle. Um, During COVID, actually, is what motivated me to get into the hair products, the natural hair products. I did that during COVID, made it from scratch, and I educated clients when we were able to go back out. Educated clients about how to take care of their hair because the hairstyles were still not styling, like the salons were still not allowed to be open. I know, shame on me. I was doing stuff in COVID during COVID, but yeah, hair has been always a part of my life. Fashion always a part of my life as well. I actually wanted to be a fashion designer. So when I did like the small events like brunches and stuff, I just really leaped out on faith and was like, I want to do a hair and fashion show. And I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna jump out and do it. No grants, nothing out of my pocket. And it just worked. Everything just worked out. Connected with people, and things just fell in place.
Okay, so can you let us know what was your first fashion show and how did that go for you?
High school. Okay, so no, that don't count. High school, my fashion show got canceled. So my first fashion show, I guess it was 2023. I'm trying to think if I did something smaller. I feel like I did something smaller. But I'll just say 2023. It was just a hair mixer, a networking event. I was mostly promoting my products, but also styled all the models' hair because I was like, I don't have no money to hire anybody. I didn't get nobody's makeup done, so it was in my eyes. I felt like I could have done more, but I couldn't do more. So I just did it. I'm like, y'all got to work with me. Maybe next year it'll be better. So again, stepping out on faith. I still had about 100 people there. And it was a real nice venue too. So it worked out. It looked good from the outside, but I was struggling in the back. But the first hair show was just a hair show. So it wasn't fashion wasn't incorporated. Everybody wore all black, and the focus was the hair styling and the products. So natural hair, locks, braids, and natural afros.
You had to
the,
see you had my little big
it
ones,
looked
right?
real good too. I said that looked earlier. I said it looks good.
You gotta do my little big one for you, you know.
And it's traditional too. I love it.
So what was that like for you? I know you said your first fashion show, you put your own money. You were the hairstylist. You were the coordinator,
Everything,
the hairstylist, everything all in one.
Yeah.
And you got a great turnout. But what was it like? Walk us through like the moment of like the anxiety, the rush, the nerves, the even stepping out on faith. How did that feel for you to even go out there and say, let me get it done?
It was nerve-wracking. My emotions got the best of me, but I didn't cry. I was just so frustrated, and it showed. And people just kept saying, "You're doing great. You're doing great. You gotta learn how to control that because your business, you're the face of your business." So that was a big lesson for me. But backstage, the things wasn't working out. People was not quitting, but just not showing up. I had some assistants, so I didn't really have a team. I just had like assistants, but they didn't know what I wanted. I had a hard time voicing that because I wanted to do everything. So the communication could have been better. So it was a struggle in every area.
I do agree with that. I can get that because the first event I hosted myself, girl, I didn't know how much events took.
It takes a lot
of time, and I was like, okay, let's like host a podcast mixer, like a podcast event, and literally, I had my podcast producer. That was my help.
Okay.
Literally, I decided to cook for the event.
Oh,
host the venue.
You did tell me. I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, host the venue, cook for the event.
Okay.
I wore all the hats that day, and I cried.
Almost did. I know it's the worst.
Yeah,
it makes things worse. Yeah. Ooh, I can't do it.
Because he was like, I almost cried. I cried. Yeah. I did. I was like, because and I didn't cry like when the whole thing was going on.
Okay.
It was when the question was asked to me on the actual podcast panel. How has it been like for you? How's everything going? And it just, all the emotions overcame me.
Dang. You can hold it back. It's okay, though. You human.
Because everybody
was an ugly cry.
It was like, I was trying to make it cute because we was on video.
Too late.
I was like, okay. But I was like, it was just such a great experience, just come into it, because I feel like a lot of people need to also understand and see that.
Yeah.
Like, when you are the face of the business and you wear those hats, behind the scenes is so frustrating. And especially if you're the person that wears so many hats.
Yeah.
And then you also have to be behind the scenes and in front of the scenes because you got to go live.
Yep.
So it's just like, nobody wants to be a part in an event where you're irritated.
Right.
Or you're frustrated.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, how do I turn off the behind the scenes and then put it on back?
Yeah.
So with that being said, this is what your third fashion show coming up, right?
Fourth. Because Ghana was third. Yeah.
The fourth,
but 3 years.
Show,
yeah.
The fourth fashion show coming up.
Yes, girl.
I want to say, what has it been like coordinating a hair and fashion show? And what has been the process getting it to this scale?
Like I said, connecting. Okay, so I can't do it by myself. I had to realize that connecting with people, good relationships, sponsors. I do have sponsors that give something, which I'm not complaining, but it helps. So I just I had to learn to start reaching out sooner. So I kind of put the bug in everyone's that's involved now in their ear, like probably a week or two after last year's Timeless 2024. So like a week, so Alkebulan Prince, she's a designer, and she was also my co-producer for the Ghana show because she's from Ghana. So we started talking to Queen Mother back home, and she's like, I think you guys should bring it to Ghana. I was like, okay, I've never been to Africa before. I don't know how it is coordinating the event out the country, period. Yes. So I was like, okay, fine. You're going to have to come with me. So you're going to have to help me do everything because, the language barrier, all that. So fast forward into this fourth show. I already had in my mind that I wanted to be rooted. I want to go back to the roots, deeper into the roots, the culture, diversity within Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Ivorian, I want to say Ivory Coast.
Cote d'Ivoire, that's where I'm from.
Did you tell me that?
No,
sorry.
No, this is the first time I told you.
Yes. Okay, represent. So stupid. But I wanted to represent multiple cultures, like even the hairstyle you had, like it was based like years ago, hundreds of years ago. So I want to bring that back with a mix of the present day. So when I went to Ghana, I was like, "Ooh, I want to do this. I want to do that." I really got inspired and actually talked to people, about the fabric. I brought some fabric back home. Even the stuff that I'm designing, I'm incorporating the. I'm incorporating the Ghanaian design, Ghanaian fabric. So Ghana was very inspiring, and also the African artist, hair artist, is what inspired hair couture. So that's another surprise for this. Well, not surprise, but another addition to this show.
Okay, so like you just said, last year you had timeless.
Yeah.
This year you're going rooted.
Yep.
And you put the bug in everybody's ear after your fashion show.
Yep.
And y'all, it was a major success last year.
Yeah, for real. It surprised me.
It was a major success last year. The woman wasn't wearing every hat. She was stressed, but she wasn't wearing.
That's right. I'm not running back and forth this year. You got it. Okay, cool. Like thumbs up from downstairs. I sat down for the show too, in the front row of my mom and them. Yup.
You set boundaries, and I love that. Like once you know what hat to wear, coordinator.
Yeah.
You did an amazing job. Let me first say that.
Thank you.
And now seeing you doing an international
show.
What they say, Ariana? What? Continental, intercontinental.
Oh, I don't know the words. I don't know
forever. Yeah, minister of enjoyment.
Hey, yeah.
What is that?
I don't know the words. I got to move. That's it.
But now that you're moving from that space, you went to Ghana. You hosted a major fashion show. Mm. So how was it like to even decide, okay, I've never been to Africa. I have these language barriers.
Yeah.
It also costs for me to take the plane. How am I going to, A, get sponsored?
Yeah.
B, get supported while I'm out there for the time?
Yeah.
Find models to actually host the fashion show and coordinate it. And then find people who even want to come out and see the show.
Yeah.
Walk us through that process of like, what was it like in the planning details?
It was a lot more work than here. So we had started. So we started talking about it in April last year. I just started randomly messaging people, models included, designers, possible sponsors, and I got probably 25% responses. Mm-hmm. So I got worried, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go out there. So I went out there in January. I was like, babe, we gotta take this trip. Like, do this for me because I can't go by myself. And Delight was already out there because she has a 5-year visa where she goes every probably few months because she has a business out there. So I went out there at the same time she did. I said, let's do a meet and greet. We did a meet and greet. We had about 75 people come out, and that was about 50 models. And then I had a couple of designers and a couple brands and talked to them in person so they can get a bigger picture. And probably about half of them were in the show. And then I was like, okay, I got to do some work. I started going to people in person. Some success and some not, but at least they know about it for next year. So we were just planting seeds. I said, okay, so this one we're going to have to invest. So me and Delight, we split it 50-50. She's such a great partner. Shout out to Delight, Alcubulon Prince. So we just paid for the venue. We got a couple sponsors that helped us with the documents so they could help us communicate. The designers were it was about six of us. So the models and designers were easy. It was just the sponsorships and getting the guests to come. So we did like promos, and I was getting advice from everybody. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, they said, well, you need to just they need to see what you can do first. So.
I love that. I think part of growing in business is also asking people who are a little bit ahead of you and a little bit bigger than you.
Yeah.
What mistakes am I making? So I don't have to repeat the same simple mistakes. I would say it might not look simple to you in that moment. But for somebody that's a step ahead, it's like, that's an easy mistake that you're making. Don't make that one. And just to get that advice from people is really, really helpful. So walk us through the business side. I can almost say walk us because we're trying to envision.
I hope I'm conveying okay. Because I feel like I'm skipping stuff.
We living vicariously through you right now. Vicariously through you. We just want you to understand. Okay, walk us through how it feels on the business side. I know a lot of times it's also getting your name coined. It's also having an LLC to get sponsorship. So what were the sponsors actually looking for to even support you?
Some of them just did it. Some of them I didn't even have to explain. We were really blessed. Like even the one sponsor we had, Sankov USA, they're from California and they go to Ghana once a year and they chose our event. Aww. And they gave us like a nice amount. I said, okay, that's this. Thank you. So we always do cross collaboration. Cross branding. So a collaboration. So they get like a
promo.
Okay. Yes. They get promotion online through the newsletters, and then they also get a spot on the red carpet, and we also give them a shout out and then we ask them what they like in return. So we make sure they're getting what they want. Usually we have like packages, but because they just gave an amount, I was just like, okay, whatever you want. But they were like, no, we're just happy to be here. So they got like 4 free tickets, front row. Yeah, and the cross branding. Yep.
Oh, I love that. So speaking of what you just said, you ask people what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of designers who actually have their clothes in the show, speaking of like hair designers who actually do the hair for the show,
Yep.
how do you make sure these different artists that are actually pouring into the
Get what they
whole
want.
thing get their own commercial marketing and what they came to the event for?
So we do the same thing for them. For the designers, this year I am offering them to have a vending space, so they'll have a lot more time with the guests. So again, I always ask them, what do you want out of this hair and fashion show? And I ask, tell me the honest opinion, like what has been your experience, and why do you think people are getting burnt out? Like I always keep it like 100. They say they have too many models or whatever, so I try to make sure that the work is spread out so they don't get overwhelmed. So if they're not only there for 3 or 4 models, then they feel like they didn't really work. So I try to make sure they get what they need backstage. Like they get the support, they have the supplies. So again, that goes back to sponsorship, so they don't have to spend their own money. So it's not a loss to them.
Okay. Yeah. So walk us through, like, how did you even know the venue that you wanted to do and actually coming together for like, okay, we're in Ghana. We know we're also doing the same show in the US. 2 shows back to back, essentially.
I'm feeling it. Yep.
Yeah. And now I also have to market the shows.
Yep.
Find the venue spaces.
Yeah.
How did you even find the venue and say, okay, this is for me.
Yeah.
This is where we want to go in, and we can get the vision done here.
Yeah. In general, I usually don't know, because one thing I do like to do when I do shows, I try not to do the same venues. So I do my research over time throughout the year. But for Ghana, honestly, it was word of mouth. I was like, okay, what about this venue? What about this venue? While I was there in January, we went to like 4 venues and none of them were available. So I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow. Like my business partner, Sway Africa, also our sponsor, I was like, can you find a venue for us? And he just sent me a whole bunch of links, and he negotiated for us. So he kind of helped us out with that. And then actually the host, she found one that was a lot cheaper. So I was like, okay, I'm going with that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's the only time I haven't stepped foot, like, let me see the place first.
Yeah.
I kind of just went blindly with that one. But for this year, I had worked with the Bethesda before in December. And I just sent her an email like, hey, I know the budget is super high. Our budget is not as high as, I'm sure that ballroom is going to be. And she's like, well, we'll work with you. I said, okay, bet. But I was just hitting her up just to see how much she would say. And I had like a backup plan. But I always have like a list. And I'm like, okay, whatever lands. So sometimes it's just a coincidence. Yeah.
I love that. I feel like also, when you're actually creating the energy and momentum, people like to support the vision and visibility more than the money aspect.
Yeah, true.
And I kind of have learning that more and more through even my mentors. Like, when I first started doing podcasts, hosting events, my biggest mistake is I was paying for a lot of things out of pocket. And a girl ain't rich, y'all.
Me neither, shoot.
A girl ain't rich, So it's like you trying to get financial education.
Yeah.
I be trying to teach y'all about financial education, but I'm on my way to riches.
That's right.
They
on your way.
So it was just like, even with like, of course, if you do put it on like a business credit card, you can probably get it in tax returns later.
Yeah.
Little processes like
Yeah.
that we're gonna go over, y'all.
Yeah.
Slow and steady wins the race. But it's like, when you actually think about it, I'm like getting hit left and right with finances, and I'm like, my pockets ain't long enough.
No, yeah.
And then I actually paired with one of a mentor who literally was like, oh, certain venues would sponsor you.
Yeah.
I was like,
right. Like, where y'all been? Trust me. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like seeing people who are more higher than me do it before me made me scratch my head like, wow, I'm paying out of pocket.
It's so much to learn.
Yeah, it's so much to learn. And I'm like, it's not like you're not supposed to pay. Nobody's always going to give you a freebie.
Yeah, of course, right.
If you have an event that builds traction,
Mhm.
more people are likely to work with
Right,
you
right.
for the visibility and the beauty of the event.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I understand that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But now we're going into what? Your fashion show this year is what day?
June 7th.
June 7th.
Yes.
Right? You have about a month and a half away. So first, how do you feel about your fashion show coming up now that you came back from Ghana and you have another one in the horizon?
I'm super excited. When I came back from Ghana, I'll be honest, I was dead tired. And I took a break. I turned my phone off, everything. Like, I was like, I don't know if I'm doing June 7th. I sent the email to the team, like, I'll get back with y'all on April 15th. I'm not sure about doing June 7th. But then I got, I still started talking back with the designers and people behind the scenes. I'm like, if I do it June 7th, you know, what's your vision for it? What's your creative direction? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm excited. Now I'm excited because someone's gonna be a part of the show that I didn't know was gonna be a part of the show. I was like, oh, I thought you said you were arrested. So she was like, no, girl, I'm doing the debut with you. I'm like, okay. So I'm not gonna release that information. It is someone I worked with before, but she's doing something totally different. And people are not gonna expect it. So that's what helped me. That was like the cherry on top. And then just speaking with people, they're like, you gotta do it. Like, I'm there for you, you know. Just working out the small things is what encouraged me.
What made you feel like, okay, I want to renege on this? Like, was it the experience in Ghana? Was it like the discouragement of the work that you had to put in?
It's the effort. It's the effort. Because you have to, it's your business, it's my business. So I have to do most of the work, which is fine. But it's tiring when you don't get, people are not reciprocating, they're not appreciating, you know, the cross branding or just what you're putting in for into the show for them. Like, I put people before me, and that is what's always hard. And I'm like, it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off. But of course, I'm doing it out of love too. But it drains. It's draining sometimes. Okay. So yeah, I'm excited about June 7th.
I love that. So even speaking about your event, what is the end goal of even hosting these fashion shows? I know that you have a hair and beauty fashion show, but what's the message that you're trying to convey? Yeah. Why even do a hair and fashion show? What is the summary, the main idea, the goal that you're trying to convey to your audience when you put on these shows? Yeah.
Well, I want to give people what they like to see. So hair, fashion, art. You're going to choose one, you know? And then if you're coming for the event just to support somebody, you're going to eat, you're going to drink. So it's always something for everybody. My main goal is connecting people, building community and building businesses. So mostly for bringing people together and highlighting local businesses. Okay. Yeah.
So now, while you're highlighting local businesses, you're bringing the community together. What is in it for you? Plain and simple, how do you profit off of these events? And what do you even funnel the money back into?
Sometimes I don't. I'll be honest. Sometimes I don't. So I've gotten better. Like, I'll do the ROI, return on investment. I just started doing that probably in the last 6 months. You know, I'm irresponsible, I'll be honest. No, I'm irresponsible. I've been in the hole a lot for some of these events, but the last one, last year, I was like, okay, this is better. Like, I have to do like a budget sheet. I work with someone that helps me with that. And I'll say, okay, this event is going to cost this: venue, hairstylist, makeup artist, food. Even down to the products, like the small stuff that I don't think is going to cost. Okay, let's put an extra $300 on there. And this is how much I need to sell to make a profit. Well, this is how much I need to sell, period, to get the money back, break even. And this is how much I need to sell to make a profit. And also now I say I want to pay myself this amount, because I wasn't doing that at first. And I'll just be like, okay, how many events I got to do, you know, for me to like get something back, because I'm spending money. I'm spending my check and working extra hours for this. So but it's not about the money for me.
You know, I love that you said that, because I was even about to add that in. Like, yesterday I was talking to a mentor of mine, and he literally just said that it's not about the money. A lot of people don't realize how much people go in a hole for their passion.
Yo, for real.
And it's just like, sometimes I was just on a podcast panel earlier in January, and they asked, how do you get profit off of your podcast? How do you monetize it?
I don't.
It's not monetized yet.
Not yet. Right.
Not monetized yet. And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I work and I spend the checks
Yep.
that I work on
Yep.
to then share with my community. And they're like, what's the end goal? To educate my community.
Yeah, there you go.
To bring people together.
Yeah.
To bring people together. And, you know, that's the best part about actually being around spaces of business owners like you.
Yeah.
Because we get to share passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love. Girl, don't do it. Don't do it.
How you gonna cut this right?
Somebody get some more of this. No, but for real, Shanice, you have to understand. Even when I first met you, Joe put us on. I was like, I love this girl.
Yeah.
We had a whole cute dinner. I was like, I love
See,
this
that would hit
girl.
this up. Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, it's the passion. Even when watching your fashion show, the way you work, even the high anxiety, it's like when you get in the spaces of women like you see yourself.
Yep.
And it's just like, wow,
Yep.
it's possible.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to bring the dreams, to bring the visions, to coordinate, to
Yeah.
grow,
Yeah.
to then actually produce the work that you're actually trying to convey to people. It's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
It might be stressful.
Yeah.
You might not get no money out of it at first.
Yeah.
But girl, you're going to be making money.
Let's go. Let's go.
Money will find you. You see the green?
Yes, I see. Yes.
Money will find you.
You get my nerve. Let's go. Let's manifest it.
Yes, because my thing is people, like I've seen so many models from your hair and fashion show as I network throughout DC. They go, oh, I see.
I remember you. Yeah.
Yes. We were there. Shanice connected us.
That's right.
Shanice connected us. You know, DC, as big as people would like to think it is, it's actually
It's a small
smaller.
world. Yep.
Yeah,
Small
it's
world.
very small.
Yeah.
And once you get into the right crowds, you will grow.
Yep.
Some people create this culture of gatekeep. We can't get into that right
That's
now.
a whole nother podcast.
We can't
Let's
get
talk about gatekeeping.
Right. We get into this whole bougie culture of fake gatekeeping.
It's so unnecessary.
But it's like
we all trying to win.
Let's win together.
Yeah.
Funny person.
Yeah. For real.
And that's the greatest part. Like, okay. So now my question for you is, how do you assess your target audience? Like, how do you know who you even want to be a part of the space?
Yeah.
And then build off of that. Like, okay, this is my target audience. How do I portray my message to them?
So I'm still working on finding my target audience, but I look at, like, say I put a teaser or something, I look at who responds. And you know that you go to the your insights. I just learned about that. It's sad, but I look at the insights and it actually tells you the ages, women, men, what areas. I'm even trying to get down to what they do for work. So I'm still studying it, but it's all ages, you know, because it's the show is kid friendly, you know, no profanity. There's alcohol, but you can, you know, you're allowed to bring kids to the venue. So it teenagers, women, men, because of the, you know, the hair products, beard products. I have beard products. So it's everybody. I can't hone in on anyone yet.
Okay. So my question to you is, how do you even use social media to first grow your audience, to bring awareness to your fashion shows, and then to now understand the analytics, like you said, the insights, to be like, okay, this is how I'm growing in this direction, and this is how I'm using my platforms to then help myself.
Sometimes I just post them just to see who responds. Like it could be a 10-second video, it could be a 1-minute video. I really just be testing the waters. Like, I have this idea, I'm just gonna do it. Like I don't know. Like, and sometimes I do 3 of the same things in different ways. So I just be testing. Honestly,
girl, how do you get out your comfort zone? Because I'm over here struggling.
I just post. Sometimes I don't edit.
Right?
Whatever happens. No, for real. Like I just be testing it. Then sometimes I do have my moments like, okay, let me study someone that's successful already in the hair brands. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way, like, you know, with the same concept or whatever. So I just be trying stuff, honestly.
Okay,
yeah.
So how do you feel like you are with engagement on social media? Do you feel like people responded to you? Do people just watch your content? The lurkers, the silent lurkers.
No, for real. Yeah. It's gotten better with engagement, and I've learned that I have to engage too. So, at first, people would respond, and I had this thing. It's so bad. I would be like, okay, let me see how many comments I get first before I respond. And I learned that you have to engage like right away, and then like your own post, like the small stuff, like the tips. So, I have some watchers, and I know who's watching for the most part. People in the industry, and I get it. But the ones that engage is more than my friends. It's like people I haven't met. So I'm very thankful for them. And then sometimes I will go on inbox like, hey, look at my video, or, you know, send the video. So just over time.
It's growing.
Yeah.
Okay, girl. So now that you, like I said, you have that upcoming fashion show, what are you looking most to get out of this show?
Well, because it's more, it's a little bit of education in it. So I don't want to say too much. So connecting with our culture more, our roots more. I also want to make it more diverse. So I did mix some diversity in it. So I want to, again, bring the community together, but also make it more diverse and not just a Black thing.
Okay.
So a little more diversity, and then connecting with our roots, and also educating the non-Blacks.
I love that. In what ways? Give us some. What way?
Okay, well, 1865, I can say that.
Okay.
Because it's a pre-Juneteenth celebration, 1865, coming out of slavery.
Okay, y'all. Emancipation Proclamation, for
That's
those
right.
who don't know.
That's right. Reparations.
We wasn't your slaves no more.
It was interesting in how we incorporate the hair and fashion, so I'm excited about that.
So how did you go from timeless to rooted? How did you find these things and then go from like, we timeless, of course.
Yes, that's right.
But we also stay on rooted.
That's right.
Of course.
By far. Well, I wrote this out like just over the years. I write out like a whole bunch of ideas, and then if it doesn't work for that year, I'll try it the next year. So I kind of already said I want to do something influenced by Africa. I had already said that probably 2 years ago. And I'll go back to Timeless. When I was working with John as the creative director, we were just starting in 1920s. Then we talked about doing the Haitian Revolution, which was 1804. And I had already started talking to Africa Gulam Prince August before that April about having her in the next show, but I was like, I don't know how I'm going to incorporate the African era, or not African era, the African culture, and choose an era. And I just started talking to her, and then one day John was like, let's go back to Africa. I said, that's so funny you said that.
Girl, she took you all the way back.
Yes, I already had it in the back of my mind, like, how am I going to incorporate that jump from 1800s to 1600s? I said, okay, let's go pre-slavery. I think we believe that slavery started 1619, so I said, let's go to 1618, Black royalty. So I said, well, this would be a dope show if I did it based on just Black royalty. So I didn't have Rooted, like the actual title yet, but I was just like, okay, maybe I'll do this next year. And I already had the styles, like I already have screenshots, I already have mood boards before Timeless.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, maybe I'll try this next year. I'll just come back to it. So I think I came up with Rooted probably 6 months ago, before we even bought our tickets to Ghana. And I was like, okay, I'll build it around that. I'll build the show around Rooted. Okay, let's go back to our roots. I did some research, like, Black history, like who would I like to represent? So not giving too much, but a lot of influential people in history. I was like, that's how I'm going to shape Rooted.
Okay, so with that being said, what does Rooted mean to you?
Rooted? Oh, that's okay. You ain't prepared for that one. Rooted. Cultural diversity.
It's your name. You chose it.
I'm trying to pick big words. I don't know. Just get back to the roots. Tapping back into our history. Yeah, tapping back into our history and engraving creative expression through hair and fashion.
Okay.
That's all I got. Look, I got this whole paragraph already, so how do I summarize that? Yeah.
Okay, so now that, like you just said, you're warming up for your fashion show. It's gonna be suns out, guns out, and buns out.
Oh, for real? It's gonna be hot.
Yes. Now, how can people view your fashion show without actually even being there?
I didn't even think about that. But someone did mention virtually broadcasting it because of people in Ghana.
Yeah. Because
we're still connected. So I haven't thought about that, but that is a great idea. So So maybe a live. I'll probably get one of the media guys. That's a good idea. Yeah.
So, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get people to see it because
Make it
I know
international for real. Yeah.
I 100% know that when people see the energy of what you do, they're going to be watching.
Mhm.
They might not always support yet. They might not always be brave enough to put their own selves out there.
That's true.
But you're the inspiration for what we even talked about it.
Yeah.
People secretly doing timeless, people doing hair and fashion show. We got to for that one. Y'all see her, huh?
I wasn't ready. Yes.
Y'all see her, huh? But you know, I feel like that always goes into like being someone's inspiration.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like they always say when somebody emulates, they're inspired.
Mm.
And sometimes it might be frustrating to the person that created the idea.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you didn't even think to give me credit.
Right.
But emulation, they say, is a form of flattery.
Yeah,
take it.
That's why I said I'm not even mad. Yeah, I'm not even mad. I'm just like, oh my, come on, y'all, like for real. Yeah, I'm fine being a trendsetter. That's cool.
Exactly. That's cool. Exactly. Because first they watch, then they laugh, but they say, and then they clap, and then they clap. That's gonna be my theme on this podcast. First they laugh, then they clap, then they clap. You already know. So getting yourself together after you launch this, it goes. It's going to be the success in God's name.
Yes. Let's cheers to that.
Yeah.
A success. Sold out. Sponsor.
So how are you going to continue for the rest of the year?
I'm taking a break. A real break. Especially if we may go back to Ghana next year. I'm going to have to prepare for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to take the rest of the year off. And not really completely off. I'll take it off from doing events because, you know, I do the boss brunch and stuff, and then like the meetups and the mixers and photo shoots, creative direction with that. So I'm gonna take a break from that, but I'll take a break from the events and I'll just help backstage with other shows or other creatives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So working with other creatives, you know, sometimes you're the main character, sometimes you're the supporting cast.
Yeah.
How has working with other creators even inspired you for your own shows?
Oh, a lot. The people I still work with, like Cache, shout out Cache, my work girl. People like her, like you say, when you see other people, you see yourself. So finding people that align with your brand, you always, you know, it's going to be a lasting relationship. So it encourages me just to keep going and just do better. Same thing with the shows. I want to do better than last year. And if I have the people behind the scenes are working alongside me, you know, it's going to happen.
Okay, I love that. So for somebody watching this, who wants to do exactly what you're doing, but haven't mustered up the courage, had the ideas, what would you say to the person?
Nike, just do it.
Period.
And also connect with people that are where you want to be, and just people in good light, good vibes. They would encourage you to just do it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what financial advice can you give?
Oh, get an accountant. And budget. It's important to budget. Like before you even put the flyer out, before you even contact anybody, write out what your budget is going to be. Like find out the venue pricing, what you're going to have to pay people, and then what you need to make. And is it possible to make it? Are the tickets going to sell? Are you going to get enough vendors? Are you going to get enough sponsors? If you don't get enough sponsors, are you able to cover the costs? All that stuff. So first of all, have the money, have the money just in case. But you know, the goal is always to reach out to sponsors and start early enough to plan.
I love that.
It's lessons for me too.
So how has budgeting gone for you?
It's gotten better. It could be better. I need some help, but I would say like my first show, I just spent money. Like I spent $800 on that photo booth. And I'm like, okay, I can't do that again. But I want it to look good. I'm like, I don't want to have to do anything. So sometimes I just spend the money.
Yeah.
And just hope to get it back on the next show or something. But I just got to pace myself and be patient and make connections, like you said, and try to find sponsors that will, you know, cover those costs.
I love that. Because I feel like in truth, every time you write out a budget, somehow you go over budget.
Yeah, anyway. It's hard.
I love that though.
Yeah.
Because it's always rooted in passion.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to use that word rooted because we're going back.
That's right. To our roots.
Back.
Yes.
So now, where can people find you?
ShaniceStyles.com. Sorry, cut you off.
No,
sorry.
Where can people connect with you?
Okay.
And where can people directly ask you questions about what you do?
All right. So at style.shanice on Instagram, www.shanicestyles.com. My email, shanice.styles19@gmail. And I think that's it. Yeah.
You see, y'all, Shanice has came to us, have talked with us, has laughed with us, and has put us on game.
Hey.
She told you about 3 to 4 times in this podcast episode. June 7th, Rooted Hair and Fashion Show. Be there
or be square.
Period.
That's cheesy, I know. I know.
Period.
Y'all don't want to miss this. It's gonna be a good one. I can feel it. I'm serious.
Yo, you know we in there.
Yeah.
You know
y'all are for real.
We know we in there. We coming through.
Yeah.
I always love the support. I love your fashion shows.
I
it's
appreciate
a whole vibe.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we going from top to bottom.
That's right.
I love to see. I'm gonna be right there taking the new pictures and connecting with as many beautiful creators as I can. Y'all heard it here first on Go About Your Business podcast. Because what I tell y'all, we're going about our business all year and years to come. Let's see how we grow. Y'all.
Thank you.